All right, guys, we are live and welcome to the show. Number one show on your YouTube right now because you're obviously watching this. I was having a great Friday, chilling, relaxing. Me and Barry Bear, we were out gardening today. If you don't know Barry Bear, he's the new co-host on my podcast that we have here. He's a great gentleman, young man that I had to save out of the street. And not from the streets necessarily, although he was in them streets, getting it in like Barry Bears do. But he actually was in the middle of the street, just flailing around, arms flagging in the wind. And people were trying to miss him. He did get hit a few times. He is scuffed up. He is dirty. And he had given up on life. And I was there in his moment of need to save him. And that's kind of how I look at most of you gentlemen. That's kind of, hold on one second. That's kind of how I look at America. But, yay, what's up? Okay. Well, Eugene, right up in this thing. Happy Friday. Let's go. Yeah. And it's like I have to be saved by people all the time because I make bad decisions. Like today, me and Barry Bear, we're just doing some gardening, right? We're out there gardening. And two very beautiful 22-year-old women came by to help us out. And because they saw two guys, that were just beat up. We didn't know what we were doing. And they knew that we needed some good loving. I mean, some help gardening. And so we relaxed with them and we're having a good time. But, once the hard work was done, I discovered, in my feeds and stuff, a lot going on in politics. So because of that, I'm having to attack the issue now. I was going to come on later tonight. Of course, you guys know I like to go live late night, right? And I was going to come on later tonight and, go live then and make sure that I could, I was going to cover a topic like when men and women peak, stuff like that. But nope, too much crazy stuff going on. And that's what it is. So I'm going to jump into it. It appears, I'm going to come over here. It appears that our dear president, Mr. Trump, has gone in and gone nuts on Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson, Alex Jones, Megyn Kelly. Like, this is wild. It's like he's not MAGA no more, or are they not MAGA? Or what are we? And just before I go into that, I just want to share some things here with you. Right back here, you see, I have my YouTube plaque, and everybody here, you guys know me as Ricky RedPill. That's who I am. That's how I built my name. That's the videos I put out. It's about loving relationships. And don't you forget it. It's loving relationships. That's my goal. I'm a family advocate. I want you guys together. I want men and women to have good love. You know how that goes. But as you can see on the plaque, there is a sticker on there. So that sticker says AFP. AFP stands for America First Party. I'm not Republican, guys. I'm not Democrat. I'm an America Firster. I believe that in America first. I don't believe in the things that divide us, right? They just divide us so they can conquer us. And that's what's going on still. And I think there's a group of people, I know there's a group of people and there's a movement going on of being America first. Now, in this political environment, it's nearly impossible. Now you might be thinking, Ricky, if you're a loving relationship guy, why are you covering politics, right? Because loving relationships, guys, is downstream from politics. You cannot have everything that goes on with men and women is dictated by the politics that go on above us, right? And I've talked about this recently, but I will briefly try to I would say give you pieces or re-explain. The other night when I was on here, I was explaining how women's sexual behavior is dictated by women's sexual behavior is dictated by the government, and how men's sexual behavior is dictated by women. It's just different for both sexes, right? We have these differences to where women don't really care what men say or do about relationships because they're not under our ownership or leadership at all. they're under the government's ownership and leadership. And what they do is when the government says, okay, ladies, you can go out and use birth control and have as much sexual activity as you want, that's what women do. Let's be honest. And when the government says, hey, ladies, you can divorce your husband, no fault. You don't even have to give an excuse. Just divorce him if you don't like him or you're not happy that day, week, month, or year. Just divorce your husband, break up your family. That's what women do. We all see it. So I guess I'm not lying here, right? So what they do sexually is dictated by the government. Now, men, it's quite different. What men do sexually is dictated by women. If women are being free and using birth control and giving it away wildly in the streets, men just adjust to that and say, I guess I got to get mine like that. Because at the end of the day, men just want women, right? The government doesn't say, okay, men, you can do this. No, it's the women's freedom and the things that the government says. So if you want to know why I cover politics as part of love and relationships, it's because of that. Like, everything that's gone wrong with our relationships, our families, the destruction of our communities is all politics first. Comes from there, hits us, we all get destroyed. Money gets taken from us down here, it goes back up there. They're bleeding us dry. They're tearing us apart. They're making sure we can't have family situations. They're making sure we can't have healthy relationships. This is the gist of it. But let's get into today's story. Let's start. I have 4 videos for you here, and some of them are quite long. So I do plan on being on here for a while. I have to not get so, wasted or something off my apple juice in order to make that happen. But we'll see if we can make it happen. Let's start with the first one here.
President Donald Trump went directly after Tucker Carlson, Megyn Kelly, Candace Owens, and Alex Jones in a Truth Social post. He accused the group of conservative commentators of being delighted to have Iran procure a nuclear bomb. The called-out group has openly opposed Trump's military operations in Iran.
It begins with a promise to use the U.S. military, our military, to destroy civilian infrastructure in another country, which is to say to commit a war crime, a moral crime against the people of the country.
Trump declared that the once close allies were no longer Maga. He excoriated each one by one, attacking Owens' appearance, Carlson's education.
Now notice here, the commentator of the video said that Trump described them as being no longer MAGA, and we're going to get into his true statement here in a second. But that is very important. Him saying that these 4 people, Alex Jones, and also he's calling them a group, like they're a group together, like they're all in on what's going on, right? They're all in on something against him. And most of them, most days, Alex Jones and Candace Owens do not talk. They don't get along. They're not together on these things, guys. And that's one of the things that's so ridiculous about this. They're not together on, I think smart people and people who can see through bullshit, right? They can just see through what Trump is doing or what other government officials or politicians are doing. But let's continue.
And Jones's many controversies. It's the largest lashing out at former MAGA allies since his break with former Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene over the Epstein files.
All right, so that gives you the gist, getting into it. I do want to move quickly to over here at the Young Turks. They talked about it too. Like I say, I have 4 videos for you on this live stream. At least we'll probably get into some other stuff because you know how I do. But I do want to cover this main topic. This primary topic is so important that I don't want to let this go. 1 second here. All right. So here, the Young Turks will talk about it briefly.
This afternoon, President Donald Trump went pretty nuclear, actually, on some conservative critics of his, specifically individuals who helped him get elected and are unhappy with the fact that he reneged on his campaign promises, including dragging us into more Middle East wars. And that includes Tucker Carlson, Alex Jones, Candace Owens, and Megyn Kelly. Jake, before we give you his statement, Mark Levin is going after you because of your statement about this on X. Your 2 cents?
Mark Levin. Okay, so this is political suicide for Donald Trump. So he is cutting off the most popular broadcasters on his own side. And he's going with the least likable person in America, Mark Levin. He'll be down to about 2 voters by the end. So Tucker and the rest are doing something smart. They're trying to save the right wing from Donald Trump in the future. But right now, the GOP is in a world of trouble. Because I'm going to tell you something after Anna gives you the facts about this temper tantrum as to why this will affect the midterms so much. You have to hear why that is. So Anna, give us the facts.
So please bear with us as I go through this very, very long post by President Trump. It does seem as though his former supporters have really struck a nerve here. But here's what he says. I know why Tucker Carlson, Megyn Kelly, Candace Owens, and Alex Jones have all been fighting me for years, especially by the fact that they think it is wonderful for Iran, the #1 state sponsor of terror, to have a nuclear weapon because they have one.
Okay. Wow. Right there. He says that, there's so many lies involved, right? They always claim that Iran is the #1 state sponsor of terror, all this and that. That is an absolute that's a non-fact. It's not even close to being true. The only thing that makes it maybe close, but they're not #1 by far. Somebody else is, and we'll talk about that in a minute. The only thing that makes it look like it's close is because sometimes somebody tries to fight you, right? They try to fight you with fire. And so you're like, okay, fighting fire with fire, you do the same thing back to them that they've been doing to you. So you can almost make the assertion that they're matching the energy of somebody else in the Middle East, but we all know who that is, right? Some people call them Philadelphia. We all know who these people are and who's really causing the trouble. If you really look at the history of, and I'll come right back to that screen, guys, but if you really look at the history of the Middle East and all the things that go on there, and their relationship to the United States, we never get attacked by them. It's just not something that was ever true. Now, once you start attacking them, then you could say, okay, we get attacked by these particular countries that are Muslim countries and things like that. But up until now, this has not been a thing, right? And the attacks that go on now really aren't in our homeland so severely, right? It's just when you take so many lives in a foreign country, things are going to come back. There's just no way around that. Things are going to, things are going to come back to us eventually because so many people lost parents, mothers, fathers, uncles, right? So that's kind of what's going on, but we'll get more into that here in a second.
One thing in common, low IQs. Right, low IQs. Now look, I'm gonna keep going and read the rest of his statement, but even if you disagree with everything Tucker Carlson has to say, to argue that he has a low IQ, especially relative to Donald Trump, is maybe the funniest thing I've ever heard in my life. Okay. Same goes for the rest, honestly. Even Alex Jones. Alex Jones might be a lunatic, but I think he's even smarter than our president. I genuinely do. And that's not a compliment for Alex Jones, but it's definitely an insult toward our president.
Yeah. Briefly on that, the low IQ thing, right? He went through building this presidency and building this presidential cabinet and everything. Like, these are high IQ people. But isn't it ironic when he picked so many high IQ people, even Elon Musk to come in there? Who did he fall out with? He fell out with Elon. Who has he fired? All the women he put in very powerful positions. Why did he put women in such powerful positions? Kristi Noem at Homeland Security and stuff like that. Are you serious? Why her husband's on OnlyFans being a dominated? It just, look it up. Well, we might cover it, but sick stuff, right? People that are clearly not qualified. They're not high IQ. They're bumbling buffoons, all the way from Cash, all the way to who's the other young lady that just got removed also. I mean, ridiculous. Everybody he surrounds himself with is obviously low IQ. When the rest of us can see right through it, then we're the assholes, right? Astonishing.
Let me continue. He continues by saying that they're stupid people. They know it. Their families know it. And everyone else knows it too. Look at their past. Look at their record. They don't have what it takes, and they never did. Well, they were never.
This guy's a clown. And I know she's about to tell you, you know, her thoughts on it. I'm just so triggered by the whole thing. Talking about people who never had what it took. Donald, what it took for you was your father's money. It took your father's riches. You had a casino. You had so many businesses. They all failed and all the banks came after you. See, some of us are older and we remember all of your bullshit, right? Some of us are older and we can remember when your casino was failing and your father had to come through and buy $12 million in chips from your casino just to keep that thing from going under. I believe it still did, but at least he tried, right? All your other businesses were failing and all the banks came after you. They had you cornered. They got you in a room and it's like, hey, what do we do here? Well, I guess I'll pay you know, if you guys come after me now is what you said. Basically, I'm paraphrasing or whatever. But if you guys come after me now, you'll never get your money. So give me some more money. Let me rebuild. I'll do something else. You can have some interest. Yeah, you're a deal maker, right? But most of the stuff did not work out. A lot of connections, New York, the name, your father's money. So maybe that's what it took. But not brilliance. What we all see and what we all hear when we hear Candace Owens is brilliance, absolute brilliance. When we heard Charlie Kirk, even though he was a young man who was misled, and right when he was going into his full manhood, 31, 32 years old, and coming to light, the light was hitting, light bulbs going off as a man, that's when he got taken out. When we hear Tucker Carlson, even though I can't stand his laugh, love you, Tucker, but your laugh annoys me. That's cool, right? None of us are perfect. But with Tucker, it's brilliance. He knows who to interview. He knows what questions to ask. He was too big for Fox News. Tucker is a real presidential candidate, although I don't know if I would vote for him yet, because I'm not sure if the people that are lined up to be next or possibly could, if they're fully America First. Ricky's AFP, America First Party, because I know that's the only thing that'll work. Every time the Republicans are in power, we have no arms as Americans. Every time the Democrats are in power, we have no legs as Americans. We're never freaking whole as a country or a people because the game of division that you guys play on us. Some of us guess we're not the smartest in the room. We can see you, all the bullshit that you're doing, right? Let me calm down because it's still early in the stream here.
Were stupid enough to get manipulated by the Israelis to enter a devastating war that you are now desperately trying to exit but can't. But I continue. He also says they've all been thrown off television, lost their shows, and aren't even invited on TV because no one cares about them. They're nut jobs, troublemakers, and will say anything necessary for some free and cheap publicity. A few of these people have never had actually several of them have never had Alex Jones never had a TV show. Neither did Candace Owens. But okay, Candace Owens got fired from the Daily Wires network because she had the audacity to criticize Precious Israel. Now they think that they get some clicks because they have third-rate podcasts, but nobody's talking about them. And their views are—
Wow. Talk about out of touch, right? Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson, two of the people on this list of four people that he is dissing in a ridiculous way, right? That he's going after, right? He's going in on these people. He said third-rate podcast. Out of just a few months ago, out of the top 3 podcasts in the world, Tucker and Candace are both in there with Joe Rogan. Many times, I know Candace was the #1 podcast in the world. She celebrated that fact on her own show. It was visible for the world to see. For a time period within the last 5 months, I believe, Candace was the #1 podcast on planet Earth, brother. But you're saying third-rate podcast. This is what they call talking out of the side of your neck. You know, you're talking out of the side of your neck. You're just making stuff up, flailing it around. I guess nobody's watching what you're posting, brother. Mr. Trump, nobody's watching what you're posting. You're just posting bullshit all day. And you did it in your first administration. And people still had hope. There was still a thought that we could make America great again. But no steps towards that have been taken. We're all still suffering at the fuel pump. America currently has 11 years of gas reserves left. That's why you keep trying to make grabs and just take from others. I get it. How about innovation here? How about you put our men to work here? How about jobs for our young men instead of providing video games and ganja? How about that? I don't know. Just a thought. How about you take all the other bullshit out of the workplace so our men can get back to work? So they can build, right? So they can innovate. Maybe that. But more on that in a minute.
Are the opposite of MAGA, or I wouldn't have won the presidential election, a landslide. By the way, all four of these individuals helped Trump get elected, not just the first time around, but also the second time around.
Not all four, all five, because you're leaving out Charlie Kirk. R.I.P. Charlie Kirk, all day.
MAGA agrees with me and just gave CNN a 100% approval rating of Trump, not hand-flailing fools like Tucker Carlson, who couldn't even finish college. He was a broken man when he first got fired from Fox, and he's never been the same. Perhaps he should see a good psychiatrist. Or Megyn Kelly, who nastily asked me the now famous only Rosie O'Donnell question, or crazy Candace Owens, who accuses the highly respected First Lady of France of being a man when she is not, and will hopefully win lots of money in the ongoing lawsuit.
Oh my God. Oh my gosh. Does anyone have any doubt that that woman is not a woman? That is a man. It's always been a man. There's pictures of her years ago, because she's like ancient now, and I'm ancient, but she's more ancient than me, right? There's too much proof and evidence. That's why when the Macrons went to drop the lawsuits against Candace Owens, they did not put in there that she was actually lying about her being a man, because they know that that would be disproven. She is. So to keep defending that, if I have a president and an administration, and it doesn't even matter which administration, a governing body, that all they can do is lie to the people and try to negatively manipulate the people, what do we really have here?
Actually, to me, the First Lady of France is a far more beautiful woman than Candace. In fact, it's not even close. I gotta stop for comment, Cenk. I gotta stop for comment. There's more, believe it or not. There is more.
Yeah. So, yeah. So he's proving how a high IQ he is by getting into a debate about who's prettier, Candace Owens or the First Lady of France.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. I can't fully read the name. Gabriel. Yeah. Always a grifter. Always a grifter. Just going spot to spot, looking for money and power. There's a story coming up in one of the videos I have tonight that is, excuse me, when Candace went live, there is she always drops like these atom bombs, and I don't know where she gets a lot of information, but she has it. But the information from this one did come from Charlie Kirk before his passing, and did come from another guy at TPUSA. I can't remember his name. I'll remember in a minute. But yeah, some bombshells are getting dropped tonight. It's a wild day here in politics.
Because that's relevant in the middle of a war with Iran, et cetera. A very stable genius. Yeah. So literally everything he said about them, low IQ, nut jobs, losers, and even supporting Iran is nothing but projection. That is exactly what he is. He's a loser, low IQ nut job. And how's he supporting Iran? He just got Iran $2 million a ship through the Strait of Hormuz. Iran's going to be loaded. He couldn't have helped Iran anymore if he tried. He's a moron of epic proportions. So, look, I'm going to get to, again, why this is going to affect the midterm so much in a sec. But one more thing here. Trump Israel First has gotten into what Joe Kent and I talked about when I interviewed him here on the Young Turks. They've gotten into what the military calls his OODA loop. And an OODA
Real quick, before he gets into that, the OODA loop or whatever that is, because I have no clue what that is. I just want to say briefly, if you think that voting in midterms or in the regular presidential cycle is going to help us, you're a goddamn fool. That's really all I have to say on that.
OODA loop is the things that surround a person, right? Their sphere of experience. So something huge might be happening, but if you're not aware of it, then it's not in your OODA loop, okay? And that's an acronym, military acronym. So in Trump's world, he's not seeing how popular Tucker Carlson is and the rest because he only watches TV and mainly watches Fox News. So in his OODA loop, everything is, oh my God, the Israelis are the greatest. And my God, the whole country loves Israel and wants you to only serve Israel, right?
Now that's very important what he's saying. Let's really think about this. What he's explaining is that someone like President Trump can actually be president, but he's, because of his age and who he is, he's only paying attention to television because that's his generation, right? He's only paying attention to Fox News, or he's watching CNN and saying, hey, are they fitting my agenda or my thing? He's totally missing it. He's totally missing the point here that Americans and people around the world, they're getting their news now from social media. The leaders of tomorrow, the next candidates, will come from social media. That's why I'm on here pushing. I definitely need to be president. All of this is ridiculous. I don't have a weird thought in my head. Well, I do have some weird thoughts, but not about how people are, human nature, how the country should be run, what makes the economics work, right? They're just so greedy that they want to keep lying and stealing money. And he is in what's called basically, I guess, a echo chamber of his own. Excuse me. Where everything he wants to hear is what he's hearing from Fox News. You know, after he bullied them and sued the owner, but that's another story, I guess, right? So now he gets to hear what he wants to hear from them. But when you go to social media, when you go to all the podcasts or Spotify or whatever, Apple, you know, when you go to all these things, you actually see now that the people that are getting the views are not on Fox News, right? They're not on your local news. The views are coming from social media. Millions and millions of people each day are tuning into that for where they get their news. They're looking at Candace for what's real. They're looking at Tucker for what's real. A lot of people, particularly older generations, are still looking at Alex Jones for what's real, and Megyn Kelly. And they don't all agree on everything, but we're all starving for a reality at this point.
So he really thinks that's what's happening in the country. And he thinks, oh, since I'm not seeing them, they must be tiny and irrelevant now. So he's attacking them with what he thinks is impunity because he thinks they're not that relevant anymore. He has no idea that only boomers like him are left watching TV and that they're the now tiny minority compared to everyone else watching shows online and in other places. That's why he's among the reasons why he's so incredibly clueless.
Yes, absolutely. In fact, I don't know about Alex Jones because the whole Sandy Hook shooting debacle might have really hurt him and his business. But for the other three, they're bigger than ever. Their online audiences are far larger than they were previously. Certainly when it comes to Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens had a sizable audience when she was at the Daily Wire. It's only gotten way, way bigger since leaving the Daily Wire. So, I mean, these claims are absolutely ridiculous. Same with Megyn Kelly. Megyn Kelly has a huge audience. So with all of that in mind, let's get to what he had to say about Alex Jones. He says, or bankrupt Alex Jones, who says some of the dumbest things and lost his entire fortune as he should have.
Wow. Yeah. I'm not even the biggest Alex Jones fan anymore. I used to be a huge Alex Jones fan 20 years ago, 15 years ago. Buddy of mine hit me to him, and I loved the truth I was getting. I wasn't really Red Pill or RP yet, but I did appreciate the truth and the uncovering style that Alex Jones had. The way they did him over a mistake he indeed made. A mistake was made. It's a man who made a mistake in reporting, but to take his entire fortune from him, I think I'm not sure of the exact number. I could look it up here, but I think they sued Alex Jones to the tune of 300 million or so. Just took every dollar from this man where he can't pay it back. He's so in the hole, right? There's no way. I don't think there's a way that Alex Jones can recover from what they did to him. And for the president to sit here and mock the destruction of his financial standing and his family's well-being is just more diabolical, dirty, bad work. And Alex Jones, I recall him being there too, Mr. Trump, and kissing your full ass, trying to be friends and cool with you. But let's continue.
For his horrendous attack on the families of the Sandy Hook shooting victims, ridiculously claiming it was a hoax. Look, I actually agree with that excerpt. I think what he did in the Sandy Hook situation was disgusting, and he should have suffered the consequences of terrorizing those poor parents who lost their kids. But let's get to the rest of it. Now, fake news CNN, the failing New York Times, and all of the other radical left news organizations are hailing them and giving them positive press for the first time in their lives. They're not MAGA, they're losers, just trying to latch onto MAGA. As president, I could get them on my side anytime I want to, but when they call, I don't return their calls because I'm too busy on world and country affairs. Don't say country. You couldn't care less about this country.
That is an absolute fact. Honestly, guys, the world affairs is so they can get money. They've already set up the system for taking money from this country, right? We're losing money daily, hand over fist. Americans can feel it at every level. Wealthier Americans can feel it too. Although their struggle isn't the same as totally impoverished Americans. By the way, if you make less than $140,000 a year, you're in what's called technical poverty in America right now. So let me know how many of you, maybe in the comments, make 140 or more. That's cool. Whatever. It's hard to get that type of money, right? We are in trouble. And it doesn't matter, like I was referring to earlier, doesn't matter who you move to elect. You can move to elect next. You can say, hey, Donald Trump was a Republican. We're going to get Democrats next time. Guess what? You're still going to get screwed over when Democrats come in. Then you'll say, this is the tricky thing of the cycle that has everybody confused. Then you'll say, hey, well, the Democrats did us wrong. We're going to elect Republicans again. It's a never-ending cycle. I tell people all the time, it doesn't even matter who got into the White House this time. It could have been Kamala, could have been Joe again, could be Trump like we have. Either way that went, we were still going to be in Iran right now. That's the cold-blooded part. Nobody was going to be like, as a president, have that power or control to say, no, we're not going there. We're not doing that. We don't have that power. The power we have, or the power that, it's a money game. And until that game is fixed, until the overriding, overcapitalized selling of our country, the treasonous selling, the tyrannical selling out of our country and our people, till that's fixed, you got nothing coming. Doesn't matter who you vote for. Why? What are you going to get something personal to you? The whole country's sinking right now, in case you haven't noticed, right?
You're too busy, diddling around with the Israelis, causing all sorts of havoc all throughout the Middle East. So back to you, Cenk.
Yeah. So now let's get to the midterms. So the polling is misleading, guys, because
no, don't want to talk about the midterms. We're going to move on to the next video. Let's go. Here, video number 3 out of the 4 that I have. Now, these 2 are going to be the longest videos, and I know that one felt long, but I wanted to get into the gist of the conversation with the Young Turks and the other one. I forgot who it was from. Here we have Coach Colin. He went live this morning. This is one of the first thing. This is the first thing I saw on this matter. So a lot of you caught the information last night. I did not get a chance last night to catch the information. Me and Barry Bear was making plans on gardening today when the young ladies came through, but you know how that went. So what we're going to do here is slide into what he's saying. There's a lot of parts. I will stop it in between to discuss some of the things that are going on here because it is important. So let's go.
Let's take a picture. That's what I'm going to do. So obviously, I mean, it's so weird to see this because when he talked about the, fake news, quote unquote, you could kind of get behind it because you were like, yeah, they are saying a lot of things that aren't true. And, they've been doing this for a long time. You can see the agenda at play. But now when he's just blatantly saying about people who you know them more intimately in terms of content because of how much you see them all, right? You see Candace all the time. You see Megyn all the time. You see Tucker all the time. You know how their careers are doing. You can actually see it all. So to hear somebody say this type of thing, Balix Tone saw this and he was like, this is dementia. Now that's where we're at. Now he's the one with dementia. Oh my gosh. It's just wild to see. Anyway, Candace just said very, very matter-of-factly, it may be time to put Grandpa in a home. Oh no. And you can tell.
Yeah, I do want to address that. The joke that was made, or the joke that's being made here, this is dementia, or could be dementia, whatever. That's actually facts. We keep our last two presidents. So we got Trump in 2016, and we got Biden 2020, then Trump again in 24. Right? Let's not play with ourselves. These guys are old as hell, right? At those ages, you should be kind of chilling, relaxing. At those ages, cognitive ability has decreased a lot. But once again, we live in this money system where it's about the money, network, and connections you have. It's about who knows Epstein, right? It's about who knows the big family with the money. Even in Clinton's case, back in the 90s, that was the case, right? This has not always been the case in America. But we can say since 1963 that this has definitely been the case. And so we need a new system. We need new ways to make our country work before we lose our country. But we'll talk more about that in a minute.
Oh, this is funny. 3 million views on it. But Candace is pissed. Oh, Candace is pissed. For sure. You just got called a loser. She was the #1 podcast. Tucker Carlson was the #1 podcast. Tucker Carlson beat out Joe Rogan. I think that lasted for like 3 weeks. So he became like #1. He's usually in the conversation of like the top 5, top 10 podcasts in the world. Candace Owens topped Joe Rogan, I think 3 times, and that lasted for, weeks or maybe a month or something like that. Megyn Kelly's usually in the conversation, period, especially in the conservative world.
Yeah, I just mentioned that. It is no joke that Joe Rogan has led the pack for a long time. And now with the recent political climate and things that are going on, literally Candace over the last 5 months has caught up and surpassed Joe Rogan several times. There were weeks of span where she was the #1 podcast on planet Earth. So to say third-rate podcast and all this and that, there's a reason people are listening. And it's not just in the United States, guys. It is worldwide. They're listening to this woman. They're listening to Tucker worldwide, not just in the United States, because they make sense. Because they're generally, even if they get something wrong, it wasn't because they're not trying to tell the truth. There's some things that even I understand they just don't know about or just don't know. I get it. I totally get it myself. I get stuff wrong too. Don't want to. I'm really trying to be honest and help, but it's hard to be right all the time, right?
Maybe not in podcasts in the world, but definitely in the conservative world. She's definitely #1, one of the top podcasts. And then Balix is a shill. Yeah, he's kind of right about Balix, but this is me. A little haterade right now. But I mean, for him to say all this about these guys is just completely untrue. We're going to go through a lot of the responses. And let me tell you something. You know how bad it gets? It says CNN is owning you over what you said, do you know how bad this is getting? How bad this is looking?
I just mentioned a name, but a woman who I saw the other night on television just ripped some poor idiot apart. Megyn Kelly is here, and she's doing. Come up here, Megyn.
He's jocking Megyn Kelly right
I'm having
now.
a great time up here. Are you having a good time? This guy. Is he the greatest interviewer?
He's jocking
Candace
Tucker
Owens,
Carlson.
I watched her and I saw her coming. I said, you know, I'm pretty good at star power. I say, that's a star.
Jocking Candace.
I just want to finish by saying your reputation's amazing. I will not let you down. You will be very, very impressed.
And he doesn't want to let Alex Jones down. Good Lord. Every single person that you came out yesterday or last night saying this stuff about, within the last, we can safely say within the last 8 years, you were fully like, this person's amazing. They're genius, this and that. Now all of a sudden, they're the lowest IQ people you've ever seen in your life, right? Because they don't agree with you. Because they see through it and they're like, hey, we can't go that far. Every last one of them help you get elected, not once, but twice. There's a name for that. I'm going to find it here in a second.
It's amazing. Your reputation. Could have been right about him at one point. But that's just crazy. CNN played this. Okay, this is not a compilation that some person on X made. This is a compilation that CNN made. CNN is calling out your lie. Do you know how upside down the world is? That now CNN is calling out the president's lies and they're actually right? This is absolutely ridiculous. You know what I mean? Forget about headphones. I'm going to be wearing shoes on my head soon. That's how upside down everything's getting, is that I'm going to have shoes on my head soon and headphones on my feet. And my microphone will be on the ground and you won't be able to hear me. It's going to happen soon. I should just show up like that. Just like, I should. Anyway, Candace Owens, ladies and gentlemen. I want to play Mark. Mark had a little thing to this. And Mike Huckabee says, and the people said...
I didn't. So before we go further, I absolutely did not hear the part, and I guess it's coming up. I did not hear the part where President Trump was comparing Candace Owens to Macron. I'm not saying Candace is the finest woman ever, but actually, in a way you would rate a woman, conservative values, married, mother of 4, seems like she's pretty much a solid married woman. She has at least some type of religious belief, not bad looking at all. She's physically fit and slim, and she's damn smart. It's hard to really compete with a woman like that. Who are you going to bring, right, to compete with that? Seems to be a absolute truth teller and bringer of light and truth, and then has the amazing ability to fight in a female way, not a masculine male way, and to fight the biggest battles and dragons in a feminine way. I've never seen it. Honestly, I've lived a long time. I'm an old ass dude. I've never seen anything like this. I don't know what you compare that to. That's going to take time to figure out.
Amen. No, they didn't. And this is not religious scripture. People didn't say amen to this. What's the matter with you? Come on. What's wrong with this guy? This guy might as well be a spy. And he's not. I'm not saying he is, but he might as well be. You know? Might as well be. What's he doing? Mike Huckabee, friend of the show. Just like that, Emmanuel Macron refuses to support the ceasefire in Iran unless Trump tweets about how hot his wife is.
Oh.
If you guys don't know about this account just popped up out of nowhere. 25,000. Wow, that's crazy. When I first saw this account, they were at like 3,000. the Babylon BB. If you're on X, the Babylon BB, I don't know the person, no idea who it is. I'm just saying Babylon BB is a funny account. They are making fun of all of the Zeo Rangers. Mark Harmon, absolutely uncalled for. Mark, this is uncalled for.
Look
This
at this.
comparison right here, you know darn well. You know darn well not to show a picture of a lady with no makeup on like that, Mark. I don't know what is the matter with you whatsoever. That's Mark's little breakdown here, comparing Candace to Brigitte. Brigitte putting on quite the outfit, actually.
Yeah, that looks just like
this outfit
just
quite a
like
bit.
Brigitte too.
Very, very nice. Mark, the originator of the ET Brigitte comparison. He is the originator of that. Thank you very much for that, Mark. I got a good laugh from that. Absolutely ridiculous. I mean, this is just crazy. He actually said that she's prettier. He actually said that she's prettier. That's where all your credibility goes out of the window. I don't even sit back and talk about how pretty Candace is or how not pretty Brigitte is. I don't even do that. But if we're going to get into the conversation, we could get into it.
I just tried to put one of my custom emojis in the chat and it doesn't work. I just ruined my whole afternoon. I'm going to go back to gardening here in a minute. Me and Barry Bear was having a good time gardening. All right. But a regular laugh emoji works. Cool.
This is absolutely crazy. And now people think that he likes dudes. Now that's the rumor spinning around, that he likes dudes because he took Brigitte over Candace. Well, what am I supposed to do with this, guys? It's not my fault. I'm not the one doing this. Crazy village lady.
All right. I'm trying
Village
to
crazy
find,
lady.
I'm literally trying to find
Someone's-
the part of the video where he's not reading the tweets like this. There's a gentleman who is speaking, and I want to find this. Maybe.
Let's go, Graham. Go ahead. Go ahead, little guy. I heard he's small.
All right, instant thoughts. Donald Trump calls out Candace Owens, Megyn Kelly, Tucker Carlson, and Alex Jones. He missed a couple in there, but we can work with this. These people are people that were catapulted to fame by riding the coattails of Donald Trump. And even when they...
God.
Wow.
Never mind, guys.
That
Sorry.
is- Woo. Let me go first there, coach. No. Wow. I can't believe that's this guy's take. Humans are so different. And I don't want to talk about him without having him on the screen. Humans, look at this guy's eyes and forehead. Tell me you're stupid without telling me you're stupid, right? He said Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens, Alex Jones, and Megyn Kelly were made famous riding Trump's coattails. Alex Jones, I'm going to him first because he was in the game way before the other ones. He was doing his thing long before Trump, I think, even had the Apprentice show. Like it's been 25 or 30 years. Like Alex Jones been on a mission. That is incredible to even try to say that. Candace Owens was already on the political track. Tucker Carlson grew up with a father who was in a government agency. He was already doing what he did, where he was going, to Fox. He didn't go to Fox because Trump was going to be president. Incredible. And he didn't perform at that high rate and become the top guy at Fox because Trump. It's hard to change the minds of normies in America, people with simple mindsets. This is difficult. If you have these type of people, how do you save them? But let's continue.
I thought we were going to listen to at least a minute of Graham. And then he goes and says that this is crazy. Does he have a frontal lobe? Can someone check?
Look.
Can someone give this guy a little knock?
Hold on. He's thinking. Woo. Hey, Coach Colin is literally thinking the same thing I'm thinking. There's no brain here. Like, it's just enough brain to speak and walk. When it comes to like thinking or actually saying what you're thinking about, it doesn't make sense. what the hell is going on here? He's thinking the same thing as me. But people like this will be popular with a bunch of followers, and they're like, yeah, you tell them, Graham. Like, tell them what? Idiot. I just can't. I'm good.
This is going to be... Does he have one?
No, he doesn't.
Is there one available?
No,
Can
it's
someone spot this guy some frontal lobe? Can anyone out there spot Graham Allen some frontal lobe so he can process information properly? This is ridiculous.
God. Yeah, that's right.
Can't even believe it.
Jesus Christ.
What's going on, man?
It's a zombie world. So I want to move forward because I believe, here it is. This is the one I'm looking for. All right.
Agree with them, but because they dare ask the difficult questions. I mean, you can't stand next to anybody that says Brigitte's prettier than Candace. You just can't. Forget about Candace. Don't even include Candace in the equation. I don't want to rip on Brigitte too much. I mean, you know, men don't do that with other men. You know, you be respectful. In the realm of men, it's about respect. So don't even worry about it, bruh. I'm kidding. But Mark's not. Mark's like, I've done the research. Mark was so matter of fact about it. Mark was like, I've done the research and there's no doubt in my mind. I was like, what? He was very...
Right here, before he gets into it, he's about to talk about Tim Pool. And Tim Pool sat here a few months ago and he was crashing out so bad because his YouTube channel wasn't being as successful as it was in the past. And he saw people like Candace and Tucker and Megyn and, you know, others become more successful because they were telling truth, right? And he wanted to stick to being a liberal weirdo. Then he tried to connect with some red pillars like Fresh and Fit, different things like that, trying to have relationship talks. Tim Pool started grifting so he could get his channel popularity back. I'm not going to grift to get my channel popularity back. I give 2 Fs what they think or what they feel. I just speak the truth. I just make videos that are about truth, right? Tim Pool kisses everybody's ass to get there. And in the video you're about to see, he's literally going to do this with Trump. And it'll irk you to your stomach because it's feminine behavior that he's displaying. He always displays it. That's why I pay him no attention. But what they're doing is paying these people and giving them the precedence online. So where he shouldn't get views, they're going to work out through their technology and whatever to get these people views. But very important to understand where Tim Pool's coming from. He also sat there and he doxed Candace Owens about where she lived and the type of security that was at her home, as if he was trying to get her hurt and put her family in danger. I thought that was disgusting behavior from a human being on anybody else, especially online, social media, where you have a lot of viewers and people come after you. But let's check out what he's talking about.
He's a very straight thinking person. He's like, there's just no doubt. There's just no doubt at all. I was like, really? Okay. Tim Pool, ladies and gentlemen. Tim Pool the president called Tim Pool to let him know about this. Let's talk about this little part here.
Donald Trump personally called me before he made this statement, thanking me for having his back and saying that I was a good friend. And I said, Mr. President, I will stand with you always, no matter what you do, even if you shoot somebody on Fifth Avenue. He laughed. Yeah. And we had a great time. And
shut the oh, Jesus. Hold on one second. I really just want you to take that in, what he just said. I believe he said, you know, before Donald Trump made this post, and, you know, he called me and told me he was doing this bullshit. And I told him, no matter what you do, even if it's crazy, I'm with you because I'm desperate and thirsty, ass kissing piece of shit. Excuse my language, guys. I apologize. I just got to call it how I see it. I literally want to rewind this part. I got to hear that again.
Men don't do that with other men. You know, be respectful. In the realm of men, it's about respect. So don't even worry about it, bruh. I'm kidding. But Mark's not. Mark's like, I've done the research. Mark was so matter of fact about it. Mark was like, I've done the research and there's no doubt in my mind. I was like, what? He's a very straight thinking person. He's like, there's just no doubt. There's just no doubt at all. I was like, really? Okay. Tim Pool, ladies and gentlemen. Tim Pool called, the president called Tim Pool to let him know about
Tim
this.
Pool.
Let's talk
Pull
about
the
this
slime.
little part here.
Pull the slime.
Donald Trump personally called me before he made this statement.
Donald Trump personally called me before he made this statement. It was me. Nobody else he contacted. We're about to find out different though. But go ahead, Tim.
Thanking me for having his back and saying that I was a good friend. And I said, Mr. President.
Thanking me for having his back and saying that I was a good friend. And you see how he said it? He said it like he was Trump. Like Trump is such your man right now that you're talking like him, girl. You walking like him, girl. Tim, you.
I will stand with you always, no matter what you do, even if you shoot some.
I'm your girl. No matter what you do, I'm going to stand by your side. You can go shoot. Tim Pool. Okay.
Somebody on Fifth Avenue. He laughed.
Yeah.
And we had a great time, and he's a good man. Donald Trump.
We had a great time.
You know, that is a tactic that they do. Regimes. Even creators. You'll even notice creators do this. They will take things to such a far place and you'll think they're crazy. But what they're really trying to do is they're trying to weed people out. And who they're trying to weed out are the critical thinkers. Because at a certain point, you want to amass everybody and then you want to weed out the critical thinkers because they're going to call you out when you're wrong. You want the people who are going to be with you no matter what. That way you can take your movement, your channel, your political movement. You can take it wherever you want because you have the people who will stand by you no matter what. So Tim is one of those people. You could do anything. You could take off my hat. You could shine my head with baby oil. You could dip me in baby oil and throw me in a jail cell with Diddy, and I'll stand right beside you, sir.
Exactly. Jesus. It's like he wants to, it's like anything for the money and power. And I will say this, I want to be very clear. It is people. Here's how we get in these situations, guys, because I want you to see something that I see. Some of you do see it, and I'm not even downplaying the fact that some of you see it, but I know there's so many people that don't. So here's what happens. You get guys like Tim Pool, right? Right now, Tim Pool, I'm not sure of his age. We can look that up, whatever. Somebody look it up, put it in the chat. All right, Tim Pool, let's just give him a roundabout age. Let's say he's 38 right now. Tim Pool's 38 and still out here wearing a Scully, whatever, right? And you can see clearly by the words he's using, the things he's saying, that he is a full-on do anything for money type of guy. Now, 5-10 years from now, if you put a suit on him, give him enough money behind him with support, he runs for office. He runs for office in your local jurisdiction. He might try to run for mayor of your city, mayor of LA, mayor of, I don't know, Denver, right? Or governor of the state. Or he might run for Congress or Senate or something, depending on his age, how much money, whatever is behind him. When he gets up there, what is he going to do? A guy like this. He's a total ass kisser. When he gets up there and he does anything for money, as a man, he sells out to money. Remarkable. Remarkably feminine trait, Tim, right? But he's not the only one. If you look at our government right now, that's who's there. Because if you're not a Tim Pool, you don't belong there. You're not a part of their system. If you don't want to go to Washington and do anything for money, they're looking at you like, what are you doing here? Don't you know this is the land of doing anything for money? If you don't want to get on them knees and drop that neck for the next man who's next in power up, what's wrong with you? And that's how they play the game. So this is why we can't get out of this cycle. We Americans can never get what's needed for America. We can never get, we can never get what's right for our country and our people because these people run and control everything, right? They do anything for money. What do real men do? Real men say, hey, we're going to do what's right for the people, and you have to work hard for your money. You have to be innovative. You have to come up with a new idea. You have to help more people in order to get more money, right? Isn't that how it's supposed to work? Instead of how many people do we hurt to get more money? How many people do we take out, misplace, bomb, right, to get more money? That's a sissy way of view. That's a soft, alternative. It's for weak men. And that's why I look at the men who run and control all of this. They're not men. Let me retract my statement calling them men. Those aren't men. They're males. They're born male, but they have the do anything for money feminine trait. It's not manhood. So this is the tricky part, but let's continue.
After I'm done being bent over by Diddy dipped in baby oil, I will stand right beside you as long as I can get my footing because it's quite slippery. I will do anything. You could do anything to me, sir. You okay? You okay, buddy?
Mm-hmm.
How does anybody respectfully follow this guy when he says stuff like that?
Same way.
How?
That's a great question, Coach. Same way that people respectfully follow our current politicians and leaders. They're just like Tim Pool. They are Tim Pool. I got so many, I need to calm down because there's so many things I want to call this guy, but he's not alone. I would love to know what his upbringing was like, how Tim Pool was raised. I might need to do a whole probe, no Diddy, might need to do a whole probe of Tim Pool's life and how we get to the point where you're such a less than a man type character. You're born male, okay, but you do anything for money, bro. That is not a masculine male trait. That is just not a thing. And our government is running control by these guys, and it's so frustrating. Like, how do we get to this?
How do you do it? It's so weird. But you just heard that, right? So he called Tim Pool, right? Somebody else showed this. This is a tweet from Tim Pool a little while ago, back in 2025. Just left a meeting with Prime Minister of Bibi, the ghost of Bibi. Oh, this is back when he was alive. Interesting discussion. I will discuss more tomorrow night on the show. Okay. So that checks out. Somebody posted this. That checks out after.
Right. So let's really think about what that means, guys. Says just left a private meeting with the Prime Minister. We discuss things that will be going on, like how I will receive money from this foreign country to promote their ideas and how to make Americans, not richer, but poorer, and how to make the prices high at the store and at the gas pump. If I can just promote to you guys that we should send our money to this foreign country, then I'll get rich along with them. You see how this works? Because I'm Tim Pool. I do anything for money, just like the other politicians. I'm just playing a game. I mean, you're in America. Why not play the game? A person like this, guys, I can assert just by listening to Tim Pool talk that he is not a Christian. There is no way on God's green earth that Tim Pool is a Christian. Tim Pool has to be an atheist or some type of pagan religionist type person in order to even think and that this is okay. In order to adjust your feelings to be like this, you have to be anti-God. You have to be against God because this isn't God. These guys. And I think I know I'm done with it. I need you guys to be done with it.
After he said this. Okay. Weird, but you guys know what that means, right? Then you have Dave Rubin. I didn't even watch this. Look at Dave Rubin.
Another sissy.
I'm not even going to get into that part, but listen to what he says.
God bless that orange man. Donald Trump just comes in out of nowhere, and right before we start, he put up a...
Look at this guy. Tell me you're superbly femme without telling me you're superbly femme, bro. Look at this squirrel. God bless that orange man. He just sent, look at this guy, sent me a paper. He sent Tim Pool a phone call and he sent me a paper. It's just a sweet orange man, you weirdo. These weirdos, guys. And this is who your tax dollars are going to pay. And this is what's going on. Let me be clear. Your tax dollars are going to pay money to social media creators like these two women. It's going to pay social media creators like them millions of dollars. They're literally paying them millions, okay? And that's the plan. It's been the plan. They pay them millions so that when you're on social media and you say, hey, this is the biggest show, this is the coolest show, look at the background, look at the lighting, this person has a big name, they appear to be getting a lot of views. That's because every social media platform is actually owned by this group of people. If you really look that up, every platform, right? And every major platform. So it's propaganda. It's not just in the music. It's not just in the movies, right? The propaganda is everywhere. The propaganda is in the books, the dictionary. People are showing me words like, well, this word actually means this. And I'm like, no, they actually changed the definition on you. That's not really what that word means. Quick example. If you look up, because I've had some debates recently about this word, manipulation. Now, I'm smart enough to know, and maybe you are too, because I got a pretty smart audience over here, that manipulation is the foundation of creation. Nothing gets created without manipulation. It's a beautiful thing. You have to manipulate a lot of stuff to create a car. You have to manipulate a lot of stuff to create a computer, a phone, everything that we use right now, right? But I do understand that can work two ways: positive and negative manipulation. Good people manipulate you positively to your own good because they know it's good for them in the long run anyway. Bad people manipulate you in a negative way. So there's positive and negative manipulation. When they manipulate you in a negative way, what they're doing is trying to trick or coerce you into things that will benefit them and not necessarily you or the group as a whole, right? But if you look at the dictionary, everybody's like, well, you look at the real definition. That's not the real definition. It's all like negative, and somebody's just, I don't know. You have to dig deeper like I do, like I did. Ask AI. I don't know, but we're lost right now, and the propaganda is real. So they send out weirdos like this. Take another look at this squirrel. Look at this guy. All right.
Rather extensive Truth Social post, which I'm going to read to you right now.
Is he drinking tea? Rather extensive.
Watch this, I'm even going to do it.
Oh, he's acting like he has a bird.
I got to do it.
Yeah, okay.
This is not for show, these glasses.
What are you drinking?
Gay guys are usually so fun. He's the blandest dude. Just the blandest dude.
He's a squirrel.
I don't need him to read it. But what I am going to show you, okay, he's still reading it. That's your whole thing.
Is this guy.
Like, the crazy part is he writes these,
Cornball. I mean, just, but probably gets 8.9.23 million views. I'm just sick of it. It's all fake. It's all propaganda. It's all here to destroy how we think and how we view things. It's wild, diabolical work.
I mean, like, he actually writes them. Biden was signing, auto penning everything and reading off a prompter very poorly. But nobody else wrote this besides Donald Trump.
He actually has somebody that writes all his tweets. All his tweets, all his things. He dictates it. He says what he wants to say, but someone else always writes it. Every single one.
Like, he has a long ass track record of writing these things. I mean, this is a top 10. This is an absolute top 10. It's also interesting. He makes the point that now that all of these guys, Tucker and Candace and the rest of them, now that they're turning on Trump, suddenly what happened with Marjorie Taylor Greene, what happened with Liz Cheney, anyone that is once in Trump's orbit, if you say anything against Trump, even if the mainstream hated you your entire life, so Liz Cheney was a Republican, she was hated by the mainstream media, then she leaves Trump, now you're a hero. Marjorie Taylor Greene, you leave Trump, even though they hated you before and you were a white supremacist on The View and everything else. You leave Trump, now they glaze you, they love you. And you'll see it with all these other guys. So the fact that he even gets that level of nuance here, I think, is impressive. Also, dare I say, maybe he's watching the Rubin Report because, he...
Okay, so what I want to do real quick, because this guy's just a jock riding and full of it. White Knight, I want to go to your comment here. Let me bring this up fully for myself. All right. So White Knight says, let's see, says, you don't pay any attention to Tim Pool excuse me, and he got you. Watch the whole show. his next sentence is literally, and that never happened. Okay. So I didn't. I'm only getting it from the podcast I'm watching. I can be fair here if I'm wrong. But they'll clip this and this headline, so you're lying or ignorant. Yeah, I'll call myself ignorant here. Ignorant is not knowing. If he says, hey, this didn't happen or whatever, I will go investigate for myself, but thank you, White Knight. I do appreciate that. I'm here for truth. RedPill only stands for truth. So if in order to get to the truth, I have to be wrong, brother, I'm down with that. And thank you for bringing that to my attention. And now, if I am wrong about Tim Pool on this instance, he's still a squirrel. He's still a do anything for money because he's proven that before, right? So his character won't change in my mind at all. This has been Tim Pool. This has been who he's been. So not a fan of Tim Pool right now, just like I was not a fan of Charlie Kirk a year before he passed away. 1 year before Charlie passed away, I couldn't stand him. 1 year before Charlie passed away, I couldn't stand him. He was being extreme. He was saying things that we all knew weren't true because he was paid to say them. That's what Tim Pool is constantly looking for. Tim Pool has been crashing out because this channel, like I say, hasn't been working. And what Charlie Kirk was doing was taking money from people who wanted him to spread a message that also wasn't true. So I'm here for the truth. I'm here for the people. And that's what I stand on every day. I know Tim Pool's position in this. So that's why there's a problem there. But yeah, if I'm wrong about Tim Pool on this statement, my fault, brother. I am going to investigate, see what he said. I will go check his channel out and we'll look at that. All right.
This is Megyn.
No one's watching the Rubin Report. How dare he? Listen, I was going to listen to a lot of things from this guy, but I'm not going to listen to him say that. That's just a falsehood. Everybody knows that. You think I'm following this? You think I'm following this? Huh? Nope. Absolutely not. Are you kidding me? I just wanted to show this because he says, as he's starting his show, breaking news. Let me tell you what this is akin to. Okay. There was a time
over here
where
choking
Chuck
to death.
Schumer was sitting down with Rachel Maddow.
All right. So I think those are the ones I wanted to play from him. And now for tonight's feature event. The feature event of this live stream. We're going to be done with this live stream in about an hour and a half. So yeah, it's going to be a minute. But yeah, for tonight's feature event, after I watched all this stuff, I'm like, what's going on? And I knew I'm a Candace fan. I'm a Tucker fan. I'm a fan of all these people. I don't always get to catch their shows because I'm so busy myself. But when I do get to catch their shows, I'm down with it. Right. So I knew Candace was off all week. She's part of the Catholic religion. I knew she wasn't going to do shows all week. So I was like, cool. I'm cool with that. Got to go a week without Candace. It's hard because it's exciting hearing some of the things she says. She's always controversial, right? And very smart. And then today she just pops up and I'm like, what's going on here? Right. And it's because I believe it was the last day of her break is this Friday. And so she would be back Monday, but she had to jump back on here. But I'm not going to explain it myself. On to the last video of the night that I'm going to show. We most likely won't watch the whole thing unless we really get into it and I get some fan interaction and some more people in here. But otherwise, it's going to be this and we'll get into some parts. But yeah, Candace is heated about what Mr. Trump said about her. I would be too. I would have had to come off my vacation and go live too. So I get it. All right, let's hear what Candace has to say here.
All right. I'm obviously supposed to be off this week, but obviously I needed to come back because I wanted to address Mr. President Donald Trump. He is obviously arrived at a moment, and I just wanted to hopefully these words will get to him. So I'll just say that. Dear Mr. President Trump, I've always been a fan of gladiator movies. I have watched them all countless times. Everybody who watches this podcast knows that. And when I consider what it is that I am so drawn to, like, is it the actors? Is it the storyline? Yeah, in part, of course. Who could deny, like, the performance of Russell Crowe in the first film? But above all of that, the characters, the script, there sits this sort of incontrovertible truth that I am absolutely fascinated by, which is the fragility of empires. right? What is it ultimately that collapses an empire? What makes an emperor weak or an emperor strong? I think more to the heart of the matter, the question is, what is it that makes a king or an emperor feel threatened initially, right? The setup of every movie is always the same. You have the wealthy elites, the politicians.
Yeah. You said Candace eye symmetry is like a hammerhead shark. I totally agree. And I don't know what it is, bro. Still hot to me. Like I say, I'm not even going to disrespect her marriage and the situation she's in. But if there was a replica of this woman, excuse me, I would take that thing in a second. Sometimes the other things that somebody has for men and women, because, you know, how we do relationships, right? Human nature. Sometimes we'll never find somebody just like perfect, but they have so many other great attributes, right? There's so many beautiful women in the world that end up with a guy who's not attractive at all because he's so smart or funny or wealthy, right? So sometimes some of your attributes kind of make up for other things that aren't so perfect. But yeah, I would, Candace, I mean, on this planet of Earth, if you look for another female role model that would be healthy for young women to listen to, say if you had daughters, right? I'm under the weather today. Like, what's going on out there gardening? Gave me allergies. So say that you had daughters, right? Like, and you say, well, we'll find good, positive female role models for my daughters. Good luck out here. Cardi B, I don't know. These weird actresses, Christina Carpenter, singers like that. Who do you find? You know, is it women who report on news? Is it people who live a certain life? And I just think that Candace Owens is a great example, as close as we can get to a positive role model for girls in our country. So she just has so many great factors to her. She doesn't have to be perfect. She can make mistakes and she can look like a hammerhead shark or an alien. I would still be down for that. But anyway, you're exactly right, though.
Perched above a coliseum, slaves fighting to their deaths beneath, all for their distinct entertainment, obviously. And then comes the inevitable narrative flip. Suddenly, the elites and their scribes and the senators, they perceive a threat. And when does that happen? That's actually not a rhetorical question, Mr. President. I know the answer. It is when a slave begins to command the crowd every single time without fail. That's when the politicians begin to feel worried. And what is of particular interest to me about that moment is that the slaves on their end, they never desire the seats of the politicians, right? They just want to have their most basic needs met. In most circumstances, they'd happily would serve some sort of structure of governance forever if their basic needs could be met, but it's proven to be a historical impossibility, right? Inevitably, we arrive at the moment of political extravagance, the fabled let them eat cake moment. They just can't stop, right? There can be absolutely no truth between a master and his slave for that reason. The nature of the relationship forbids it. And I think about this a lot now, very often, mostly in the context of our late mutual friend, Charlie Kirk. I think to myself, when was the exact moment
R.I.P.
that Charlie Kirk understood that he was not free, that he had money, that he had fame, but he did not actually have freedom?
Now, once again, I will say that, how do I say this? I would say that due to my knowledge of human nature, men and women, stuff like that, once again, I think Charlie Kirk passed away at 31 years old, if I'm not mistaken. If I'm wrong about that, put it in the comments. But that's around 30 years old is when men have their epiphany, right? That's when they wake up to full manhood. Human males, they start their manhood journey between 25 and 28. And then around 30, it's about this wake up time where just things become very clear, the direction you need to go. And then about 35, they hit their stride. And at about 41, 42, they reach another peak. Multiple different peaks go on here, but they reach another peak where it's like solidly within the full grasp of their manhood. financial peak doesn't come till later. Most American millionaires are 55 years old, right? So men go through several peaks. Their physical peak, athletic physical peak, is 25 to 29. Just some information for you guys on some Ricky RedPill stuff, right? Let's go.
You know, between you and I, whoever it was that made the decision to kill him was correct in their assessment that he was indeed a threat, because Charlie Kirk could command a crowd. He could. He was capable of that. So much so that he actually, if you think about it, he's been dead for 7 months and the crowd still moves on his behalf. That's incredible. That is real power, Mr. Trump. You should ask yourself, how did he achieve it? I would offer it's because he never sat above, perched, looking down at the slaves, right? Charlie understood how movements were built and, more crucially, how they were sustained. Someone actually said to me shortly after his death that Charlie was a maestro. He understood that every instrument was needed to command an orchestra. The strings, the woodwind, the brass, the percussion, all very different sounds, but he could hear them each brilliantly, each section. And at various times, he would conduct one sound above the other, more flute, less violin, more cello. Alex Jones, Tucker Carlson, Megyn Kelly, Candace Owens, different instruments, to be sure. But only a fool or someone under the express direction of one could have thought to hit send on what you published on Truth Social last night. And I think that we...
Yeah. Do I think he should have hit send on this? That's a great question. Yeah, he should have hit send. And he should have hit send because we need to know exactly where he stands. And when he hit send, he divided himself from these 4 people. And he also would, in fact, divide himself from their audience, right? So him hitting send on this message on Truth Social was a brilliant move by Mr. Trump. He's saying, hey, I stand over here. You guys don't stand with me. And now we can make a clear divide between Maga and the movement that I believe is America First. And I think Barry Bear agrees. Barry, you agree with it? He agrees. Just he's not very talkative today. That clear divide is now set. Marjorie Taylor Greene, many other politicians are moving in this direction. America's headed for a dramatic change. I don't think there needs to be the multi-political party setup anymore, personally. I know this mathematically for a fact. We shouldn't have it. Once again, united we stand, divided we fall. When we keep doing, just imagine how this works, guys. Every 4 years in our country, let's just say, not even midterms, we'll take the midterms out of it. Every presidential election cycle, we're giving these 2 choices. Well, we're giving multiple choices, and then it narrows down to a Republican candidate and a Democratic candidate. And then we fight and we battle and we wonder who's voting for who you voting for, who you voting for over here, right? Who's voting for who with our family, friends, our neighbors. We see the signs in the yard. We see all the people picking and choosing based upon what's best for them and their life and their family. And then when everybody does pick, even in a landslide victory for a presidential seat or any other position, really, it still divides us, right? Because somebody every 4 years, every 2 years has to lose. So 51% of the vote over here, 49% of the vote over here, half of our country lost the election. That never can feel good for half of the country. And once again, every time somebody's in office, Republicans in office, we have no arms. Democrats in office, we have no legs. How long can we do this? One party is the only solution. The America First Party, Ricky AFP, right? America First. That's the only solution. Now you have 2 candidates. They both stand to be America First. They're America First. What does that mean? Be about the people first. Be about the country first. And then give us your ideas on how you can help us best. Once we know that you're for this country first. Otherwise, why do you stand before the people trying to be a leader? Why do you stand before us? Because some foreign country paid you to? Because they donated to you? So that when you do become our politician or our president, you can serve them and not the people. I need those days to be over. And I think you do too. But let's get back to Candace.
We should read it together, Mr. President, shall we? Okay, here's what you wrote. You wrote, I know why Tucker Carlson, Megyn Kelly, Candace Owens, and Alex Jones have all been fighting me for years, especially by the fact that they think it is wonderful for Iran, the #1 state sponsor of terror, to have a nuclear weapon, because they have one thing in common: low IQs. They are stupid people. They know it, their families know it, and everyone else knows it too. Look at their past. Look at their record. They don't have what it takes, and they never did. They've all been thrown off television, lost their shows, and aren't even invited on TV because nobody cares about them. They are nut jobs, troublemakers, and they will say anything necessary for some free and cheap publicity. Now they think...
The boy, hold on a second. The boy said nut jobs, pause, okay, no diddy. And the boy said troublemakers. These grown adults, they're just making of the trouble. They're troublemakers. This is crazy work. Like, at what point can we wake up out of this massive nightmare that has literally lasted in our country since 1963, guys? The last real American president or person who tried to be a real American president passed away in 1963. When JFK left, every single president we've had since then has been an absolute puppet, and this is a disgrace. But let's continue.
They can get some clicks because they have third-rate podcasts, but nobody's talking about them. And their views are the opposite of MAGA, or I wouldn't have won the presidential election in a landslide. Okay, let's park it there, right? Let's just chew on that portion right there first, because it is a stunning break from reality. Because I'll ask the question, do you have any idea why it was, Mr. President, that your old tweets, the sentences you used to say, which were typically definitely insults back in 2015, but do you ever wonder why they worked? I can help you, right? It's because they were rooted in some element of truth, okay? So if you called Rosie O'Donnell unattractive, or when you said Hillary Clinton should be in prison, it played to the crowd because although many people thought it was inappropriate and beneath the dignity of a politician, it was based in truth, right? Hillary Clinton's done some things. Now, you can call Megyn Kelly a great many things. I have definitely had my political disagreements with her over the years. Low IQ? Really?
Now, that's a tough one too. Megyn Kelly being called low IQ. I'm not saying she's at the top of the IQ part here, but is she a solid performer and a straight thinker? I think so. I guess the reason I have a problem with this is because over the last few months, actually since Trump became president, so it's been more than a few months, Megyn Kelly has tried so hard. Out of all the people he disrespected yesterday, Megyn Kelly is the one person who rode the hardest for him, right? She's the one person who she kept trying to, out of this group, right? She's the one person who kept trying to say, no, he's fine. And she didn't want to cause division. Just a few months ago, Donald Trump Jr. was on her panel show where she had everybody on the stage, right? She was literally trying to still be nice to them, still be part of the Trump train, still be on the MAGA bus, right? And what happened there is they kept pushing. And then they pushed Ben Shapiro in her face. Then Ben Shapiro disrespected Megyn Kelly. She finally said, you know what? I got to let go. There's another movement going on. America first, baby. Let's go.
Tucker Carlson, low IQ, me, low IQ, the three of us unsuccessful somehow. When you write stuff like that, you just demonstrate nothing but your own irrationality. It just doesn't land. Nobody cares about them anymore. Really? You're the leader of the free world and you're tweeting about us. I think that means somebody cares. Actually, what nobody cares about anymore and what you seem to have an inability to comprehend is.
Let me guess. I'm just going to go one guess. The MAGA movement. The MAGA. She's going to say MAGA. That's just me guessing ahead.
That traditional cable news no longer moves the needle.
Damn it. I was wrong. Trump's into cable news. I should have knew it.
Cable TV is a dying medium. FDR, he used the radio, right? His voice, the fireside chats. It worked. It moved audiences when it was new. And when the world transitioned there, and then suddenly it was the dawn of television, JFK's good looks on the screen, that served him. And he used that. Once again, fast forward to today, and the world is technologically advancing. Yet you're launching insults at what you don't comprehend. Joe Rogan is not going to do Fox News hits. Do you understand this? He is not trying to get on CNN. None of us are. I don't know how else to help you understand.
I can help him understand because I'm going to tell him why. Joe Rogan, let's just start with Joe Rogan because he usually is the top podcast in the world. So we'll start with him. The reason he doesn't need Mr. Trump, and yes, he's lost, guys. The reason Joe Rogan doesn't need to be on Fox News doing interviews and promoting something is because he's the number one podcaster in the world who has a deal with Spotify, right? The first deal was a $200 million deal. There's nothing he's going to get going on Fox News that's going to help that money. So when that contract was up, they re-upped him for another $200 million. I'm sure at this point, Joe Rogan's net worth is somewhere around, I don't know, $500 million. Doesn't need Fox News. He does MMA fights. I'm just confused how as president, you don't understand the current world, right? I think even BB gets that social media dominates, but our own president doesn't. I don't know, bro. We are cooked.
You are quite literally mocking people because they comprehend something that you don't. Tucker Carlson is more powerful than you. Deep down, I think you know that. And I think you resent that, which is proven by your next lines. Let's read on. You continue, MAGA agrees with me and just gave CNN a 100% approval rating of Trump, not hand-flailing fools like Tucker Carlson who couldn't even finish college. He was a broken man when he got fired from Fox, and he's never been the same. Perhaps he should see a good psychiatrist. Okay. Obviously, Tucker Carlson is in his prime. The whole world understands that. That sentence, he couldn't even finish college. Are you aware that your base is comprised of blue-collar workers who never went to college? Many who never so much wanted to go to college, never dreamed.
Yeah. Before she breaks down that list, I do want to say, the not go to college thing. Most of the American billionaires that we have right now did not go to college, guys. College at this point in America, colleges and universities I think most of us, hopefully that most of us understand that this has been a scam upon the American people. They get you into massive debt, takes you years to get out, to even try to pay it. And now they're trying to do government legislation to get you to pay it and restrictions. And then a lot of people go through college and they come out getting jobs that pay $25K and $35K a year. It's insane, that system. You don't have to be college educated. Going to college does not make you smart or a genius. It makes you trainable. It educates you in an area or a field, right? But it doesn't make you a naturally smart person. Doesn't make you genius level neither. So he's wrong there. But there's a lot of people that are in his MAGA base that haven't been to college. But she'll break that down.
Dreamed it. The farmers, the ranchers, the plumbers, the electricians, the people who work with their hands, you now stick your nose up to all of those people. Do you know who else didn't go to college? Charlie Kirk didn't go to college. Those men, many, I would say, a lot of the men and women that you and Pete Hegseth want to send to their deaths in the Middle East, many of them, probably most of them, didn't go to college.
That's a fact. Big fact. That's a big fact. Years ago, guys, when I was excuse me, when I was in Afghanistan, and I wasn't a soldier there, I was a contractor there. And I remember I was in what's called the DFAC, where we eat at, and I was eating one meal or another. And a young man sat across from me. He was new, soldier, a very thin, young African-American gentleman. And he was 17 years old, I believe, 17 or 18. I believe he was 17 though. And we had the greatest conversation because he was scared. He was in fear, you know. And I remember my first tour there. I did multiple tours in war zones, but I remember my first time I was scared too. So it's a natural thing. And I was just telling him some things that would help him through this tour of war. And I am not kidding you. And I think we were discussing, I can't totally recall because this was years ago, but I think we were discussing, and I wish he would reach out to me these days. I wish he could find me. But I think we were discussing this thing about the fear and everything, because he was going out on a certain type of mission that day. And I saw him later on, and he did end up getting hit, sacrificing himself and his body. That's what our soldiers do, guys. They fight for us. They fight for the American way. They fight for all of our freedom and existence. But I can't understand why they would fight for another country. There's no way to equivalent that in my head. I don't see it. And I'm tired of it. I'm tired of what they do to our boys and our young ladies that serve, because I was over there with a lot of young women that serve too. This is sad. It's corruptive. It's treasonous. It's foul, and it needs to stop. And the people that are, like Candace said, that are sending them to their death, a lot of them, by the thousands in some wars, they're just doing it for money and position and for their own safety, and don't care what goes on with us. All right, real quick before we go back to Candace here, if you're here, help me out. I'm just now starting to go live on YouTube again. Been a long time. Guys, just hit the like button. Help me out. We're going to be done with this stream soon, but if you're here, just hit the like button. It just helps me out to grow. So when we come on tomorrow and the next day and the next day with live streams, we can build an audience and really do something collectively that actually creates change. Thank you.
Be perfectly clear here when I say that each and every one of them is infinitely more smart and more capable than you and the people that you surround yourself with in this moment. But let's continue, because CNN says you've got 100% support. You write, or Megyn Kelly, who nastily asked me the now famous only Rosie O'Donnell question, or crazy Candace Owens, who accuses the highly respected First Lady of France of being a man when she is not, and will hopefully win lots of money in the ongoing lawsuit. Actually, to me, the First Lady of France is a far more beautiful woman than Candace. In fact, it's not even close.
Wow.
Jeez. This Brigitte Macron.
Look at that man. Hold on.
Who did you write that sentence for? Not even.
Hold on, bro. Woo. I'm sorry. I only laughed at the First Lady of France because Barry Bear was over here laughing. I don't know if y'all heard him. He started laughing, and that's what made me laugh. I didn't mean to laugh. I know she is royalty in France. But look at this young fella. Look at the head on this thing. What? Jesus.
Even Brigitte.
Look at that's not a woman.
Macron sorry. And Emmanuel Macron applauded that sentence. Okay. They said incroyable. It doesn't help. Sometimes propaganda, when it's too naked.
Even when she sat, she manspread. I want to rewind that, but I won't. But she even sits like a man, bro. Come on, bro.
Actually just hurts the cause that it purports to support. What is your obsession with Brigitte? This Brigitte Macron in the swimsuit? Whoa. You think that you...
Hold on, bro. I've seen a lot of monkeys in the wilderness in my day. That thing, good googly moogly. That is not real, authentic French monkey in the wilderness. That is a young man in a blue swimsuit, and it might be a little chilly. That's why they're wearing that is, Candace went too far today. I can't do this. Brigitte and her, yeah, that's thick.
You can command people, men, straight men, to suddenly think that Brigitte is hot. Did you date Jean-Michel Trogneau? Are you gay?
Jean-Michel.
Why are you so obsessed calling me from the White House? Stop talking about Brigitte.
Ooh.
Is it a physical attraction truly that you had there back when he was better looking, I suppose? Did you sleep with him when he was a man? Do you think people care?
Oh, no.
To your point about, I hope she wins money since it's all you see, gold, shekels. Do you think your base cares when the subject matter is children that are being statutorily raped by their supervisors? Do you understand that no one in MAGA, in true MAGA, cares about money above truth and protecting children? Did you connect that dot?
Nope.
When we revolted against you?
I do have to interrupt her for a second here, because that's just a lot to chew on, right? Wow. Yeah, I don't think they forget though. I think Candace is asking if they forget. They don't forget. They know that we all don't like what's in the Epstein files. They know that we're all unhappy with the economy all the time. They know that we need work and jobs and places to live, and that the price of groceries is too high, that the price of gas is too high. They know it. It's a game they play on us, and they feel like right now they're doing it at a rate to us where they're like looking us dead in the eye, like, "What you gonna do about it?" What? Like, yeah, okay, I'm doing it. What you gonna do? They're so bold with what they're doing, right? And what he hates and what they hate is that we're waking up. The American people, the population is waking up, and it's a little scary to them, because if the people wake up, I mean, heads are gonna roll, right? Just my take on it.
Saying, what about the Epstein files? That seems to be a theme with you. Protecting people who harm children. Why do you keep doing that?
Because he's one of them.
Why do you want people to be sued for standing up to that class?
Because he's
we continue.
One of them.
Let's go back to your message conclusively, right? Or bankrupt Alex Jones, who says some of the dumbest things and lost his entire fortune, as he should have. It's all about money for you, Trump, isn't it? For his horrendous attack on the families of the Sandy Hook shooting victims, ridiculously claiming that it was a hoax. These so-called pundits are losers, and they always will be. Now, fake news CNN, who you literally, you just cited as saying you had 100% support. So are they fake or are they real, Trump? Now, the fake news CNN, the failing New York Times, and all of the other radical left news organizations are hailing them and giving them positive press for the first time in their lives. They are not MAGA, they are losers. Just trying to latch onto MAGA. As president, I could get them on my side anytime I want. But when they call, I don't return their calls because I'm too busy on world and country affairs. And after a few times, they go nasty, just like Marjorie Trader Brown. But I no longer care about that stuff. I only care about doing what's right for our country. MAGA is about winning and strength in not allowing Iran to have nuclear weapons. MAGA is about making America great again, and these people have no idea how to do that. But
No, that is not true. MAGA is not about the American people winning. MAGA, if MAGA was about the American people winning, then all the things we've been discussing would be totally different, right? What MAGA is about is these people in power winning for other countries also, and they can split up the money from using us and our resources overseas to take things. If MAGA was about political power or military power and winning overseas, we were that under Obama. We were that under Biden. We've been that in the world since World War II, right? So that's not what MAGA is about. MAGA, everybody believed it was about making this country great again. And from what we're all seeing, that's not what's happening, right? We seem to be worse off than ever. We've been in recession for a long time. Nobody wanted to say it, but we were, and we are. Actually, our economy got to the point, and they kept this a secret, where we actually had a worse economy than the Great Depression here in the last few years, but they didn't want to say that because they didn't want you to freak out. They don't want you to freak out because they still want you to make your tax dollars available, the jackpot, the pot of tax dollars. They still want you to make that available so they can pocket it. People think the economy just goes bad as if money just disappears. Doesn't disappear, guys. They're just pocketing the money. They're hoarding it. All right, we're about to wrap this up.
I do, because the United States is now the hottest country anywhere in the world.
Jesus.
President Donald J. Trump. Was that written by Mark Levin? Like when he was 6? Or who put...
He said I'm sorry, I keep cutting Candace off with it. He said America's now the hottest country in the world. Like, we are such a sexy country. If we were, then when we just went to this war, other countries would have actually supported it. And make sure if you're here, guys, try to hit the like button, man. I give you boys some support. We're going to build. This is my second live stream coming on. We're going to do them kind of every day, every other day. But if we were the hottest country, then why, when we went to this war situation, why did nobody else sign on for this? Every other country spoke out. China, Germany, European nations, Australia, Japan even said, no, we don't think we want to be a part of this thing you got going. If you're hot, that means like a lot of people like you. A lot of people don't like us. We are not hot, but cool, bro. Delusion.
This message to the hottest country in the world because we're bombing kids for no reason, because we just killed 150 schoolgirls for no reason, because you guys just lied about 6 of our servicemen who died. And they had to leak that to CBS News, that you were lying about what was happening. Is that what makes us hot? Is Hot Girl Summer being led by Brigitte Macron and people who attack people, other journalists, for telling the truth? Is like, what's going on? Who put this message together for
Jesus.
you and hit send? You're citing CNN, but you're also dissing CNN for having produced certain polls. I don't know. You just told us that we couldn't get on CNN, but now you're saying that we have good coverage on CNN. You're all over the place. It seems like you can't put together a coherent thought. Let me tell you something, and this is just reality, okay? Going back to just the rules of the jungle, okay? Let all the politicians...
We'll wrap it up after she says this, and I'll give you some parting words, and we'll get out of here, guys.
And advisors around you evaporate for just a moment. Just you and me. Ready? People will not fight beside, behind, or for someone who is fundamentally disloyal. Okay? If disloyalty and deceit is in your nature, then I highly suggest that you combine it with silence. You can be what you are, but I would advise you do it quietly, Trump. Because MAGA is no longer commanded by you, and you know it. You know it. You belong to the Epstein class. That is your legacy now.
Woo!
People will see.
All right. Well, I done blew up the whole internet there.
Your name on buildings.
So here's what we're going to do. This has been a long live stream for me coming back to YouTube for live streaming. I think we're good here. Thank you guys for joining me tonight, man. This has been special. I know I appreciate it. And once again, my new co-host for the live stream, Barry Bear, young man that I saved off the street. He was having a hard time. He was like, man, just nothing's going right. And I was like, Barry Bear, I'm gonna have you sit behind me on live stream and you're gonna watch it, right? he don't talk much, so I don't know what's going on. But yeah, it's been amazing, man. There's some amazing news. I'm kind of glad I'm not in this position yet as Candace or Tucker or Megyn or one of these people, right? Because they're having to face the president of the United States as American citizens, attacking them as citizens. I mean, we're seeing things now these days that we never would have seen viewed in the past, right? So it's a tough situation to be in. It's a tough time to be alive. It's a tough time to be an American, right? So I think we covered a lot tonight. Thank you guys for being here. I appreciate you being here. I'm going to probably, not sure what time it is. Yeah, it's early enough. I might come back later on tonight. But if not, tomorrow night later, I do have a special live stream that isn't about pure politics. It will be about the age tomorrow night for sure. Maybe later tonight. I'm not sure, but looks like tomorrow night. The age in which women peak and the age in which men peak. and the fertility peak window for women, all of that stuff I will cover tomorrow because I'm so tired of TikTok debates on this. I've been in some TikTok live streams and they're killing me with the bullshit. People, Americans, people, humans, we are lost. Some people think, one young man told me that women peak to be great mothers and wives, in a position to be great mothers and wives at 44 or 45 years old. This was a younger male who said this, and he believed it.